Hello viewers, hope you're doing well. Today in this video, I'm going to build full stack image upload application using MERN stack with the Firebase. First, I will give you the overview of the project. After that, we will start the implementation. So let's get started. In this application, we will integrate the Firebase in Node.js application to upload the images. In the React application, we will create image upload form where we have inputs like posted by, title of the image and the image. After the form, we will show images. So let's navigate to the UI of our application. First, I will give you the demo of the project. After that, we will start the implementation. So as you can see the page, on the top, we have a upload image form with the different inputs like posted by, image title and the file input. Let's fill the form. Image title that we have evening. Upload the image. Now I'm going to click on the submit button to upload the image. As you can see, we got a message that we have image uploaded successfully. Let me scroll down. As you can see, the uploaded image. On the hovering of the image, we are showing here the details like posted by and the image title. Now let me open here the MongoDB. As you can see the document of the newly uploaded image where we have a title posted by and the URL that we have got from the Firebase. We are storing the image in the storage bucket of the Firebase. After that, we have a created ad and the updated ad dates. So these are the features that we will implement. I hope you will learn a lot from this application. Let's go inside this folder, and here I'm going to create a new folder with the name backend. Let me open this folder in the VS Code. Open here the terminal. The first command I'm going to run here that we have npm init, that is a initialize. Let's hit enter. As you can see the prompt that we have package name. Let me select here default. The version it will be a 1.0.0. Description leave it empty. The entry point that we have index.js. Test command leave it empty. Git repository leave it empty as well. The keyword empty, author empty, license that will be a default. So here I'm going to write yes. As you can see, it's created a package.json file. Inside this file, we have a metadata of our application. This file carry the dependencies as well. Now after that, I'm going to install Mongoose, Express, body parser, and course. Let's hit enter. As you can see, the dependencies are installed successfully. As you can see the dependencies array. After this, I'm going to install Node.js. As you can see, the newly added dependency. This dependency will restart the Node.js application when the change make. Now after this, I'm going to create a new file with the name index.js. Inside this file, I'm going to add the console.log where we have a dummy string like hello world. Let me open here the package.json, and here inside the scripts array, I'm going to add here the key that we have start. Inside the codes, I'm going to write here the command that we'll use to run the Node.js application. So the command that we have node is index.js, the name of the main file that we have created. So let's save this. Let me kill this PowerShell. So here I'm going to write the command that we have npm start. Let's hit enter. As you can see, we got a string in the console. Let me open here the CMD, and here I'm going to write the command to create the new React.js application. So the command that we have npx create -react -app space name of the app that we have frontend. Let's hit enter. As you can see, it start creating a new React.js application. So it will take a couple of minutes. As you can see, the project created successfully. Let me close the CMD, and I'm going to open this folder in the VS Code. Let me open here the terminal, and here I'm going to write the command to run this project. So the command that we have npm start. So our project is locally running on this link. Let me copy this. Let me add inside the browser. As you can see, the home screen of the newly created React application. Now let me search here material UI. As you can see, the official website of the material UI library. Let me copy this command. Let's go back to the VS Code. Let me open here the new PowerShell. Let's hit enter. As you can see, the material UI library installed successfully. First of all, I'm going to create a new file with the name .env. After this, let me open here the terminal. And here I'm going to write the command to install the .env package in our Express.js server. So the command that we have npm install .env. Let's hit enter. As you can see, the .env package installed successfully. You can cross check here. After that, I'm going to declare variables inside the .env file. So the first environment variable that we have port with the value 5555. Second that we have MongoDB URL. Let me add here the connection string of the database. As you can see the string. Now after this, let me create a new folder with the name config. Inside this, I'm going to create here the file with the name config.js. So inside this file, I'm going to import here .env. So it will be a const .env is equals to require from the .env. After this, I'm going to call here the import, and we have to call here the config to load the config. So basically, the .env library used to load environment variables from a .env file into process.env. This allows you to access environmental variables in your application. So let me define here the variable that we have port the data type const. So it will be a process.env. Let me define here the variable name that we have port. Second that we have MongoDB URL. Let me copy the variable name from the .env file. Let me replace here. Now we have to export these. So it will be a module.exports. First we have to export here port, and second that we have MongoDB URL. Now after this, let's go to the index.js. I'm going to import port and the MongoDB URL from the config.js file. With this, we have to import Express and the Mongoose. So first I'm going to import here Express. After that, I'm going to import here Mongoose. After that, I'm going to import here the port and the MongoDB URL from the config.js file. And we have to import here the port and the MongoDB URL. Let me create here the instance of the Express application. So it will be a const app is equals to Express. Now after this, I'm going to set up here the middleware that we have app.use. Inside the argument, we have to pass here express.json. So basically, express.json passes incoming requests with the JSON payload. After this, I'm going to write the functionality to connect the MongoDB and start the server. So let me call here the import that we have mongoose.connect. Inside the argument, I'm going to pass here the MongoDB URL. It will be a .then. If the connection is successful, then we have to call here the instance that we have app.listen. Inside the argument, we have to pass here the port. Let me add here the console.log, where we have a string that is a app is listening on port. We are passing here the actual value of the port. Now after this, let me add here the console.log to print the string that we have database connected to MongoDB. After the .then block, let me add here .catch, where we have to catch the error. So here inside this block, I'm going to add here the console.log to print the error message. So basically, mongoose.connect establish a connection to MongoDB using the connection string that we have MongoDB URL. If the connection is successful, then app.listen starts the server and listens on the specified port. It also logs app is listening on the port and database connected to MongoDB. If the connection fails, it catches the error and logs it. Let's go to the package.json. Let me update here the start script that we have in node-mon. Now here I'm going to write the command that we have npm start. Let's hit enter. As you can see, our server started successfully on the port 5555 and the database connected to MongoDB. First of all, let me open here the terminal. And here I'm going to write the command to install the Firebase admin. So the command that we have npm install Firebase-admin. Let's hit enter. As you can see, the Firebase admin package installed successfully. Now let's navigate to the browser, and here I'm going to search Firebase. Let's go to the Firebase console, and here I'm going to create a new project. Let me write here the name that we have image-upload-app MERN. Let's click on the continue button. Continue. So here I'm going to configure the Google Analytics account that we have default. Let's create a project. So it will take a couple of seconds. As you can see, the Firebase project created successfully. Let's click on the continue button. Now let me open here project setting. Let's go to the service accounts tab. As you can see, the Firebase admin SDK. Now I'm going to generate a new private key that we have the configuration for the Firebase admin. As you can see, it's downloading successfully. Now here I'm going to create a new file with the name firebase-admin.json. Let me copy these configuration. Let me add inside this file. Now I'm going to import this file inside the .env file for the property name that we have, Firebase service account file name. Let me add here. Let's go back to the browser. Let me open here the storage. Let's click on the get started, start in test mode. Let's click on the done button, and it's creating a default bucket. As you can see, the default storage bucket created successfully. Let me copy this path. Let's navigate to the VS Code. Let me add here the path and the property name that we have, Firebase Storage Bucket name. After this, let's go to the config.js file, and here I'm going to import the Firebase service account file name and the bucket name. So let me duplicate this line, update here the variable name that we have, Firebase admin. So we have to get the Firebase admin config file from the .env file that we have, this one. After this, we have a Firebase storage bucket name. Let me update this. So we have to export these. First, we have the Firebase admin. Second, we have the Firebase storage. So I'm going to create a new folder with the name models. After that, I'm going to create a folder for the image route. So let me create the folder with the name routes. Inside the models package, I'm going to create a new file with the name image model.js. Inside this file, I'm going to import here the Mongoose and the schema. So it will be from Mongoose. After that, I'm going to import here schema from the Mongoose. After importing these, I'm going to define here the schema with the name image schema. So it will be a new schema. Inside this, we have a properties. First, we have title. Second, we have posted by. Third, we have the URL. At the last, timestamps. So the first that we have a title. That is a type of a string. Let me add here the type. After that, we have a property that is a required. That is a true. Second, we have the posted by. Third, we have the URL. After these, we have a property that is a timestamps. That we have a true. This option automatically adds two additional fields created at and updated at to the schema. Mongoose will manage these fields and update them whenever the document is created or modified. After creating the schema, I'm going to create here the model. So it will be a mongoose.model. Inside this, we have to pass here the name that we have, this. After that, we have to pass here schema, that is a image schema, and we have to export this model. So it will be a module.exports is equals to image. After that, I'm going to create a new file inside the routes package with the name image route.js. Inside this, I'm going to import here Express. After that, I'm going to create an object of the router. So it will be a express.router. And we have to export this. So it will be a module.exports is equals to router. Now after that, I'm going to create a new file inside the config package with the name firebase.js. Inside this, I'm going to write the functionality to initialize the admin SDK and the Firebase storage bucket that we have to use to interact with the Firebase to create and the read file. So let's go to the Firebase console, and I'm going to get this code from the service accounts tab. Let me add here. We have a port that is the admin from the Firebase admin. Let me update here the path that we have the config.js. So we have to get the service account and the Firebase storage bucket name from the config file. As you can see, we have to import these. First, we have the Firebase admin. Second, we have the Firebase storage. Now, after this, we have to initialize the admin SDK by passing the service account. After that, we have to initialize the storage bucket. Let me pass here Firebase storage. After initializing these, I'm going to set up the bucket. So it will be a const bucket, and it will be a from admin.storage.bucket. And we have to export the bucket. So it will be a module.exports. Let's go to the second tab, and I'm going to run this command to install the material UI icons in our React.js application. So let's navigate to the VS Code. Let me open here the terminal. Let's run this command. As you can see, the material UI icons installed successfully. Let me close the PowerShell. Now, as you can see, the app function. Let me remove this div. So here I'm going to add the div with the style padding 16 pixels. Inside this, we have a paper tag with the styling properties, padding 16 pixels, max width 600 pixels, and the margin that we have the auto. Inside this, we have a typographic tag with the caption upload image, that we have the title of the form. After that, we have a form tag. Inside this, we have a grid container. In this grid container, we have the different inputs like the name of the posted user, title of the image, and the image upload input. After these inputs, we have a button to submit the form. So the first input that we have posted by, as you can see, the input for the image title. After that, we have a input to upload the image. So this input will accept the JPG and the PNG files. After these inputs, we have a button with the caption submit. As you can see the button with the caption submit. Now on the top, I'm going to edit the imports. As you can see the imports that we have text field, button, typography, grid, and the paper from the material UI. After that, we have a upload file icon from the material UI icons. Let me format the code. Now you can take a look of the app.js. Let's navigate to the browser. As you can see, the upload image form where the first input that we have posted by. After that, we have a image title input, and the last input that we have upload image. At the last, we have a button with the caption submit to submit this form. Now let's go back to the VS Code, and I'm going to declare a use state for the form data. So it will be a const form data and that form data. Let me declare with the use state. Inside this, we have a title. Let me initialize this empty quotes. After that, we have a posted by. At the last, we have a image. Let me initialize it with null. After that, we have a use state for the file name. So it will be a const file name, set file name. Let me initialize with the use state. After that, we have a use state for the preview image. So let me duplicate this line. Let me update this that we have preview image, and it will be a set preview image, and it will be a by default null. At the last, we have a use state for the uploading, and it will be a set uploading, and it will be a by default false. Let's navigate to the VS Code. As you can see, the app.js file. So after the use states, I'm going to create here the method with the name handle change. It will get an event. Let me create another function. Now here inside the handle change method, I'm going to destructuring the event object. So it will be a const name that refers to the name attribute of the input field that triggered the change, like posted by, title, or image. After that, we have a value. The value entered in the text field, like title and the posted by. At the last, we have a files. If the input is a file input, then files will hold the list of the files selected by the user. So we have to get from the p.target. After that, I'm going to add the condition where we have to check if the files and files with the zero index, not empty. Then we have to set here the file name to the use state that we have files with the zero index dot name. After that, we have to set here the preview image state. So it will be a URL dot create object URL. Inside the argument of this, we have to pass here files with zero index. If the input field is a file input, like file is not empty, the first selected file is processed. First, we have to set here the file name. This will update the file name state with the name of the file. Set preview image creates a URL representing the selected image file and sets it in preview image for displaying a preview of the image. Now after that, outside of the if condition, I'm going to update the set form data state. It will be a preview data. So here we have to clone the preview data. Let me give here the name of the input. If we have a files, then we have to give here the file itself. Otherwise, we have to give here the text input value. Now I'm going to call this method on the onChange event of the form inputs. So this input for the posted by, let me add here the value property. Let me bind this with the use state that we have form data dot posted by. This property will set the default value. After that, we have to add here the change event, and we have to call the method that is a handle change. Let me copy these properties. Let me add on the text field of the image title. So we have to bind this with the form data dot title. And on the onChange event, we have to call the method that is a handle change. So this is the input to upload the image. Let me add here the line of code to show the file name. As you can see, the state name that we have file name. We are showing here the file name if we have. Otherwise, we have to show here default name that we have upload image in the form of a JPG and the PNG. Now inside the input tag, I'm going to add here the property that we have on change to call the method that we have handle change. And after the button, I'm going to add here the code to show the uploaded image. As you can see, the piece of code where we are checking if we have a preview image, then we have to show this avatar with the src with the value preview image. After that, we have a few styling properties like margin left, width, and the height. Now let's scroll on the top, and I'm going to add the import that we have avatar. Now after that, on the form tag, I'm going to add the event that we have on submit. On this event, we have to call the method that is a handle submit. Let me create this method. So it will be a const name of the method that we have handle submit. It will get an event inside the argument of the method. It will be an arrow function. And here I'm going to add console.log to print the form data values in the console. So let me pass here form data use state. With this, I'm going to add here e.prevent default. This line prevents the default behavior of the form submission. Normally, when a form is submitted, the browser would reload the page, but calling e.prevent default stop this from happening. This is necessary for the single page application. Now you can take a look of the app.js. Let's navigate to the browser. Let me open here the inspect. Let me fill the form by adding the posted by John. Let me add here the title of the image that we have in nature. And I'm going to upload the image. As you can see, the preview of the image. So let's click on the submit button. As you can see, we got here the form values in the console where we are getting posted by title and the image. As you can see, the index.js file. Now on the top, I'm going to import here image route. Now after this, I'm going to setting up the Express application to use the routes that defines in the image route file. So it will be app.use. Let me add here the route path that we have slash, and we have to navigate the request to the image route. After that, I'm going to install Multer in our Node.js application. So let me open here the terminal, and I'm going to write the command to install the Multer. So the command that we have npm install name of the package that we have Multer. Let's hit enter. As you can see, the Multer installed successfully. You can cross-check the Multer dependency inside the package.json file, as you can see. Now after that, let's go to the image route. On the top, I'm going to import here the Multer. After that, I'm going to import bucket from the firebase.js file inside the config package. After the bucket, I'm going to import here the image model. After importing these, I'm going to install a UUID in our Node.js application. So let me open here the terminal. And here I'm going to write the command that we have npm install UUID. Let's hit enter. As you can see, UUID installed successfully. You can cross-check the version of the UUID inside the dependencies array of the package.json file. After that, let me import here the UUID. We are calling the before method from the UUID library. This library used to generate the unique IDs. Now after these, I'm going to set up the Multer middleware for handling the file uploads in Node.js. So let me call here the Multer function. Inside this, I'm going to specify the storage engine for uploading file. Here we have used memory storage engine, meaning files will be stored in memory as a buffer objects rather than saved directly to the disk. This is useful for the small file uploads when you need to process the file in memory before deciding what to do with it. After that, I'm going to add here the limit where we have a file size 5 MB. This sets a file size limit for the uploads. In this case, it's 5 MB. If a user tries to upload a file larger than this limit, the upload will fail. Let me save the response of this method into this object that we have upload. So basically, this configuration allows you to handle file uploads directly in memory while forcing a file size restriction of 5 MB. As you can see, the VS Code editor where we have a Node.js application. So after the instance of the router, I'm going to create here the route that we have post, the URL of the endpoint that we have /upload. After that, we have a middleware from the Multer that we have upload.single. Inside the codes, we have a variable name image. So it will be a async function. The upload.single middleware from the Multer handle file upload for a single file with the field name image. It stores the file data in memory because of the Multer.memory storage. As you can see, the request handler is a asynchronous for the await usage to handling the asynchronous operations. For example, saving the data to MongoDB and Firebase storage. I'm going to extract the data from the request. We are extracting the title and the posted by from the request body. After that, we have to retrieve the file from the request.file property, which is populated by a filter. After that, I'm going to add a if condition where we have to check the file presence. If file is missing, then the route sends a 400 status code with the message indicating that no file was uploaded. So it will be a restart status that we have 400.send and the message that we have no file uploaded. Now after that, we have to upload the image to the Firebase storage. So let me call here the bucket that we have import from the firebase.js file. As you can see from the bucket, we have to call here the method that we have file. Inside the argument of this, I'm going to add here the backtick. So first, I'm going to call here the method that we have UUID v4 to generate the unique UUID. Now after that, I'm going to add here underscore. After that, we have a name of the file. So it will be a file.original name. On the left side, I'm going to create here the variable that we have blob to save the response of this. Actually, the bucket.file is a file location within a Firebase storage. This generates a unique file name for the uploaded file by combining a UUID with the original file name. Actually, it will be a blob instead of blog. So let me call the method from the blob that we have create write stream. Inside this, we have to define here the content type that we have a file.mime type. So the blob.createWriteStream creates a writable stream for the file in Firebase storage. After that, we have a metadata content type with the value file.mime type, sets the mime type, for example, PNG, JPG for the file. So here on the left side, I'm going to create a variable with the name blob stream to save the response of this. After writing the stream, I'm going to write the functionality to listen the event. If we have an error listener, then we have to log the error with the status code 500 with an error message. So it will be a blobstream.on. Inside this, we have to listen the event that we have error. We have to catch here the error. Let me copy this. Let me add here. So here I'm going to update the status code that we have 500 and the message that we have something went wrong with the image upload. After listening the error event, I'm going to listen here the finish event. So it will be a blobstream.on. Inside this, we have an event that we have finish. So it will be a async function. Inside this, I'm going to call the method from the blob that we have make public. So this makes the uploaded file publicly accessible by setting its permissions in Firebase storage. So let me add here the await. Now after that, I'm going to constructing the public URL. So let me initialize here the variable that we have public URL. Let me add here the backticks. Inside this, I'm going to add here the URL. As you can see, the URL that we have https://storage.googleapis.com/bucket.name/blob.name. Once the file uploaded successfully to the Firebase storage, I'm going to add here the try and the catch block. The catch block will catch an exception in case of API failing. So let me add here catch block. It will catch an error. I'm going to send the API response with the status code 500 and the message that we have getting error while saving data to MongoDB. On the top of the try block, I'm going to create an object of the image model. As you can see, the import of the image model. Let's go to the image model. As you can see, the key that we have title posted by and the URL. So let me add here the key that we have title. After that, we have a posted by. Let me pass here the value of the posted by. After that, we have a key URL on the place of the value. Let me pass here public URL. And here I'm going to initialize a variable with the name new image that saves the response of this object. Now inside the try block, let me call here the object name that we have new image and the query that we have saved to create the new document in MongoDB. So it will be a await. Now after that, I'm going to send the response. So it will be a restart status. Let me pass here the status code that we have 201 created and the message that we have image uploaded and data saved successfully. Actually, we have to move this section inside the finish event listener. Now, as you can see, the public URL can be accessible in the image model object. Now, outside of the finish event listener, I'm going to add the blob stream. So it will be a blob stream dot end. Inside the argument of this, we have to pass here file.buffer. Now you can take a look of the image route. Let me open here the terminal and I'm going to write the command to run the Node.js application. So the command that we have npm start, let's hit enter. There we got service account must be an object. Let me check. We are not able to access the service account from the Firebase admin.json file. As you can see, the firebase.js file inside the config package. When I'm clicking on the service account, it's not navigating us to the Firebase admin.json file. Let me remove this. Now here I'm going to import Firebase admin JSON file here. So it will be a service account. Let me add here require. Inside the quotes, I'm going to add here the path. And this is the file that we have to import. Now we are able to access the Firebase admin JSON file. As you can see, the Node.js application started successfully. Let's navigate to the Postman. As you can see, the URL of the endpoint that we have http://localhost 5555 that we have the port. After that, we have a /upload that we have the path for the upload image endpoint, the mapping that we have post. After that, we have edit the form data in the form of a key and the value. You can select the form data by clicking on the body tab. The key that we have title, and this is the value. After that, we have a key posted by, and this is the value of the posted by. After that, we have a key that we have image, and let me select here the image. Now let's click on the send button to upload the file. As you can see, the status we got 201 created, and inside the body we got a string image uploaded and data saved successfully. Let me open here the MongoDB Compass, and I'm going to refresh the images table. As you can see, the newly created document where we have a title posted by, image URL, and these are the two more fields created at and the updated at. As you can see, the API to upload the image at the line 21. I'm going to update the blob.createWriteStream method. Let me have the content type inside the metadata object. Okay. Now after that, I'm going to create an endpoint to get the images. So let me call here the instance that we have router and the mapping that we have get. Let me add here the URL that we have /. So it will be a async function. Inside the argument of this, I'm going to add here request and the response. Inside this method, I'm going to add try and the catch block. The catch block will catch an exception in case of API failing. Let me catch here the error. So here I'm going to return the response with the status code 500 and the message that we have getting error while retrieving data from the MongoDB. After that, I'm going to print here the error message. So it will be error.message. Now inside the try block, I'm going to call the query from the image model that we have find. So it will be await. And here I'm going to create an object that we have images to save the response of this query. Now after that, I'm going to return the response with the status that we have 200 OK. And the response in the form of a JSON, where first we have a count of the image. So it will be a images.length. After that, we have a images object. Now we can take a look of the image route.js file. Let me open here the terminal, and I'm going to write the command to run the Node.js application. So the command that we have npm start, let's hit enter. As you can see, the Node.js application started successfully. Let's navigate to the Postman and let's test the API. Let me open here the new tab, and I'm going to copy the URL, the mapping that we have get. Let's click on the send button. As you can see, the status we got 200 OK. After that, we have a images object. As you can see, the app.js file in our React.js application. First of all, I'm going to create a state for the alert. Let me initialize this with the use state. Inside this, we have a type that is by default empty. Second, we have message that is by default empty. At the last, we have a open that is by default false. As you can see the button with the caption submit. On this button, I'm going to add here the property that we have disabled when the uploading has a value true. After that, we have a property with the name start icon where we have to show the loader when the API is in progress. We are checking here the value of the uploading. If uploading has true, then we have to show here the loader. Otherwise, it will be a null. Now after these, I'm going to add the implementation for showing the alert after the form tag. As you can see, we are checking here the value of the open. If the alert.open has true, then we have to show this alert where we have a alert type, alert message, and on the close, we are cloning here the alert. At the last, we are setting here the value of the open false. Let me import the alert from the material UI. As you can see, the method that we have handle submit. Inside this method, I'm going to add the if condition where we have to check if the form data.image is null. Then we have to return this function. Before returning the function, I'm going to show here the alert. So let me call here the alert state where we have a type error. After that, we have a message that is a please select an image. At the last, we have a open with the value true. Let me remove this console. Now outside of the if, I'm going to call here the state for the uploading. Let me set here the value that we have true. After that, I'm going to create an object with the name form data to send. Let me initialize this with the new form data. So we have to append here the title posted by and the image. So let me call here the object name that we have form data to send dot append. Inside this, we have a key that is a title. Let me get the title value from the form data state that we have form data dot title. as you can see. Now after that, we have to append here the posted by, and we have to get the value of the posted by from the form data that we have, form data dot posted by. After that, we have to append here the image, and we have to get the image from the form data dot image. After appending these, I'm going to add here the try, catch, and the finally block. Inside the finally block, I'm going to call here the state that we have set loading. Let me pass here the value of the loading that we have false. Inside the argument of the catch, I'm going to catch here the error, and inside the catch block, I'm going to show here the alert where we have a type error message that we have error uploading image. Now after that, I'm going to install the exist package in our React.js application. Let me open here the PowerShell. Let me write here the command that we have npm install exist. Let's hit enter. As you can see, exist installed successfully. Now let me call here the package that we have exist and the mapping that we have post. Inside the argument of this, we have to pass here the URL form data to send object. After that, we have to define the content type that we have multipart form data. So first, I'm going to add here the URL inside the quotes. As you can see, the URL that we have http://localhost:5555 that we have the port of our Node.js application /upload that we have a path of our post image API. After the URL, I'm going to pass here the object that we have form data to send. After this, inside the headers, I'm going to define the content type that we have multipart form data. As you can see, the content type that we have multipart form data. So it will be a await. Let me make this function async. Now after calling the endpoint, I'm going to show here the alert type success message that we have image uploaded successfully, and the open value that we have true. After that, I'm going to call here the use state that we have set form data to make this form empty. So first I'm going to make the title empty. After that, we have a posted by, make this empty as well. At the last, we have an image, make it null. After that, I'm going to call here the use state that we have file name, make it empty as well. At the last, I'm going to set here the use state that we have set preview image. Let me make it null. Now you can take a look of the app.js. Now let's navigate to the Node.js application. Let me open here index.js. On the top, I'm going to import here the course. After importing the course, I'm going to define here the middleware for the course. So let me call here the instance that we have app.use. Inside the argument of this, I'm going to pass here the package name that we have course. Now let's go back to the browser. Let me open here the inspect. Let's fill the form where we have a posted by John. Let me add here the image title that we have nature. Let me upload here the image. Now let's click on the submit button. As you can see, the error we got, circular progress is not defined. So let's go back to the React.js application. Let me import here the circular progress. Let's go back to the browser. As you can see, the status code we got 200 OK, and inside the response, we got a string image uploaded and data saved successfully. As you can see, the app.js file. So first of all, I'm going to create a new state for the images with the type of array. Let me initialize this with the new state, and it will be a type of array. After that, I'm going to create an async function with the name fetch images. Inside this, I'm going to add here try and the catch block. The catch block will catch an exception in case of API failing. Inside the argument of the catch, I'm going to catch here the error. And here inside the catch block, I'm going to add here console.error to print the error message in the console. Let me add here the string that we have error fetching images. And here I'm going to add the error. Now inside the try block, I'm going to call here the import that we have exists and the mapping that we have get. Inside the quotes, I'm going to pass here the URL of our endpoint that we have http://localhost:5555. Let me copy this. Let me add inside the quotes. So it will be a await. And here I'm going to create a variable with the name response. After that, I'm going to add here console.log to print the API response in the console. After that, let me call here the use state that we have set images, and inside the argument of this, I'm going to pass here the fetch images. So it will be a response.data.images. Now after that, I'm going to add here the hook that we have use effect. We have to call the method fetch images inside the use effect hook. Use effect will run when the component mount. We have to call the fetch images API as well after posting the image. So let me call here the method that we have fetch images. After that, I'm going to add the HTML code to show the image with the title and the posted username. As you can see, the paper tag, let me minimize this. After the paper tag, we have a div with the styling properties, display flex, flex wrap, justify content, and the margin top. Inside this, we are calling here the use state that we have images to get the image one by one. Inside this, we have a card tag with the property key where we have passed image ID. After that, we have a few styling properties, margin and the width. Inside the card, we have a card media where we have to show the actual image. After the card media, we have a div with the styling properties, padding and the background color. Inside this, we have a typography tag to show the image title. At the last, we have a typography tag where we are showing the posted username. Let me import the card from the material UI. After that, I'm going to import here card media. Now you can take a look of the app.js. Now let's go back to the browser. As you can see, the fetched images where we are getting the title and the posted username as well. So that's all for now from my side. If you have any confusion, you can do comment. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.